Hello everyone, today is my last full day in Singapore, and tonight I'll be enjoying a special dinner at Nobu, Singapore, which is actually right inside the Four Seasons. I know I didn't have to travel halfway across the world to eat at a Nobu restaurant, however it's always been on my bucket list to eat at a Nobu restaurant, and this one is slightly more affordable than some of the other Nobu restaurants I've seen where it feels like it would cost your whole life savings. This morning, however, I'll be heading over to Sentosa Island, which is another pretty touristy area of Singapore. However, I do think it'll be a lot of fun. There are multiple ways to get to Sentosa, however the way I think that makes the most sense for me is I'm going to take a taxi from my hotel to the cable car station, which will take us directly to the island. So let's go. I'm a short walk away now from the Harbourfront station, and that is where I'll be taking the gondola or cable car to Sentosa. So let's do that now. I just bought my tickets for the cable car, and I got the combo ticket that includes the glass bottom cabin, so I need to backtrack a little bit and take the regular cable car to Mount Faber, and then from there I can take the glass bottom cable car all the way to Sentosa. Now that I made it here to Sentosa Island, I can already hear the wildlife. I mean, just listen to the birds. My first stop here in Sentosa will be the Skyline Luge, which is this really cool ride. I just finished up the Skyline Luge, where you take a wheeled sled just racing through the jungle. I did 3 out of their 4 tracks, and by far my favorite was the Dragon, which is the most exhilarating and the longest track. There's one last stop I want to check out here on Sentosa, which is the Fort Siloso Skywalk. I just took the Fort Siloso Skywalk here to Fort Siloso, and I love the view from the Skywalk, as you could see part of the city of Singapore, and you could also look out into the sea and see all the ships in the distance. Unfortunately, I won't have time to explore Fort Siloso today, but I do highly recommend visiting Fort Siloso, as it is a historic place in Sentosa. Now I'll be heading back to the mainland and getting lunch in a mall somewhere. Here we are. This is Vivo City, which is a large shopping mall just across the water from Sentosa, and I think they got a pretty decent food court inside. I finally was able to get a seat here at the Food Republic food court here at Vivo City, and you gotta be careful if you're coming here on a weekend. Today is a Sunday around a late lunch. It's almost 1:30 now, and it is packed, and it took me forever to find a table here. For lunch, I decided to stop by this stand that was nearby. This is a fish stand that specializes in fish dishes, and I got their fresh tomato fish, which looks like a fish in a tomato broth. The quality is just fantastic. The fish is perfectly cooked, it's piping hot, and it's extremely juicy because it absorbs all the broth, which is slightly sweet and tangy from all the fresh tomatoes. And I'm telling you, this is like restaurant quality. Now I gotta get some of the fish with the broth. Oh, that is just fantastic. I love that the broth is very flavorful and tomatoey, but it's not oily or salty, so you could definitely finish this entire thing in one sitting, and that's exactly what I plan to do. Oh, I just finished up that bowl of hot fish, and there's something strangely comforting about it. I mean, even though it's hot outside and that bowl of fish was piping hot, I feel like I've just adapted to the Singaporean food culture. I just made a quick pit stop at the hotel, and I do have a few hours before dinner, so I wanted to quickly head over to Takashimaya, which is a Japanese department store chain, which is literally just a few blocks away. I'm here in the large Takashimaya building, which is connected to an even larger shopping center. I am not planning to buy anything, and I'm just planning to look around, because I can't emphasize enough how little room I have left in my luggage. Alright, I couldn't leave Takashimaya without getting at least one item, and this is a consumable item. I stopped by this fresh juice stand that is on the bottom floor of Takashimaya, where they squeeze all of their juices fresh. This is star fruit juice, which was a no-brainer, because I had to get at least one tropical juice here. Oh, that is amazing. I taste small pieces of the star fruit since it's more of like a smoothie and it's very rich and tart. And to me, it tastes like a cross between a pineapple and an apple. Alright, I'm gonna quickly finish this up and then head back to the hotel because I got a lot of packing to do since I'm leaving tomorrow. It's a couple hours later and it's finally time to head down to Nobu on the 3rd floor here at the Four Seasons. I just placed my order, and this month they have a special collaboration in celebration of the 3-year anniversary of this restaurant here in Singapore, and it's the Tokyo-Singapore collaboration omakase menu. This is sure to be a special treat. I was looking forward to ordering their signature omakase, which is a little bit more affordable, but since this is the only omakase menu they had today, I had to go with it. Our first course that came out is the sashimi course, and I'll be starting off with the grouper that is in yuzu sauce, which just sounds amazing because yuzu is one of my favorite foods. Well, that is fantastic. This is the first time I've had fish outside of Japan that is just as high of quality, very tender and natural tasting grouper. And I love all the seasoning because you have some tartness and zestiness from yuzu, so it's a very simple marinade, but it definitely enhances the fish and does not overwhelm it. Next we have the Chutoro tuna tataki, which is a seared tuna. That one's very interesting. The tuna is ridiculously tender, however the sauce is very strong. It's extremely salty from all the soy sauce, and it's also quite vinegary as well, so I do feel like it covers up some of the taste with the fish, but I do understand why you do it, because tuna is a very fatty fish, so it helps cut through some of the fattiness. For my final sashimi dish, we have the item I was the most excited about, which is the yellowtail topped with black truffles. This one is just as buttery as the Chutoro, and I think I like it better because the marinade's a little more subtle. It's just a light vinegar dressing, and then you have the black truffles on top, which is a very light hint. It's not too overpowering, so this one you can definitely taste the freshness of the fish a little bit more. Now it's time for the sushi course, which is one of the highlights of the meal, and I love that this is just classic nigiri sushi because typically Nobu is a fusion restaurant, but this looks firmly Japanese. We're going to start off with the Otoro tuna, which is the fatty tuna, which I find interesting because that's usually how I love to end my sushi, but they said to go in this very specific order. I'll be honest, that is delicious, but I was hoping it would be a little bit better. I mean, obviously the tuna is going to be high quality, and for me, the rice was a little bit on the mild side. Typically, even at higher end sushi restaurants, I find that the rice is more heavily seasoned, but here it's very mild, and it kind of just tastes like steamed rice, but it's still pretty tasty. Next, we have the marble rockfish, which I know is a very popular fish here in Singapore. Ooh, I love that one. It is a very mild white fish, and what I appreciate is this one has a little bit of a chew to it, so it's not super tender, but I appreciate that difference in texture. Next off, we have the striped chat. Oh, that one is so similar yet so different at the same time. It is again a white fish, but this one is so tender, it just melts in your mouth. And then I love the chewy skin on there, which adds some more texture, but it's not fishy at all, which is really important when leaving the skin on your sushi. Next we have the mackerel, which is just the classic sushi. Oh, that's an extremely premium cut of mackerel. It's so soft and tender, just like all the other fish. The only thing for me is it does leave a bit of a fishy aftertaste, which mackerel typically does. So I feel like it needs a little bit of ginger and green onion top, which is traditionally how mackerel is served. For my final fish after golden eye, it was supposed to be shrimp, but since I have a shrimp allergy, they were able to replace it. Oh, the golden eye is very nice as well. It is a snapper fish, but what makes it really special is they add a Japanese shiso leaf on the bottom, which gives it a very herbal and bright flavor, which really changes up the palate a lot. Next we have the yuzu miso salad, which comes with fried tofu, and it comes with grilled scallops, because it originally came with grilled shrimp, and they were able to change it out for me. I got to take a bite of this plump scallop. Oh, the scallop is very well executed. It is just a seared scallop, and it tastes like there's a little bit of miso dressing on top, which is very creamy and buttery smooth. I'm guessing that means just the yuzu dressing is going to be on the lettuce. Ooh, I definitely taste the yuzu now. It starts with a creamy miso flavor, and then it moves into a little bit of yuzu zest at the end, but it's not tart at all. Next off, we have our first hot course, which is lobster. Oh, that lobster is probably the best cooked lobster I've ever had. It's so juicy. I mean, you just bite into and it's an explosion of juices, almost like a steak. And it's so tender and soft. I mean, I don't know how they managed to cook it perfectly. On top, you have a lemon pepper sauce, which just adds a little bit of fragrance and a little bit of bite, but it's just a perfect addition. It's not too heavy or strong. For my last dish, I have the Japanese steak, and this is a huge portion. I mean, everything combined together, I feel like you're really getting a feast here at Nobu. That is a very interesting steak. I love the char on the outside because it has a really crispy and crunchy crust, so as you bite into it, you get that crunch. But for me, the inside is a little overcooked since it's cooked medium well, and I do prefer my steak medium rare. I'll say the one saving thing is on top they have a wasabi sauce, which I find to be very creative, and it definitely adds a lot of flavor and kind of makes up for the dryness. Okay, update, my mistake with the steak. Once you get into the middle, it definitely is cooked medium rare, and it's very juicy and fatty, even though it's not Wagyu, but I do think it's a little bit heavy, especially after all the food I had earlier. Because I told them in advance that I was celebrating my birthday, they brought out a birthday dessert, and this is a chocolate cake topped off with pumpkin and cinnamon ice cream. I'll get a little bit of the cake with ice cream. Okay, that is an extremely impressive birthday dessert. First you got the chocolate cake on the bottom, then you have a thick layer of chocolate cream, you have crispy chocolate coating on the outside, and then that pumpkin ice cream is just ridiculous because pumpkin ice cream is one of my favorite flavors, and usually it's just a seasonal ice cream that I can only get back when I'm in California. And now for the dessert that actually came with the omakase course, which of course is a matcha tart, because I knew there had to be some sort of matcha with this meal since it is Japanese fusion. Oh, that is a really sweet end to this omakase meal. I love the crispy and crunchy crust on the bottom. And then you have a matcha cream, which isn't too heavy, but it's really strong with the matcha flavor, so it might keep me awake tonight. But I honestly don't care, especially when you eat the matcha with the ice cream, which just really gives it a lot more sweetness, and it's not bitter at all. Now that I'm back at the room, I do want to give you my final thoughts on dinner at Nobu. First off, the service was great. I mean, everyone was coming around constantly to refill my waters, and they were very accommodating of my shrimp allergy as well, and they also all remembered that it was my birthday. However, I'll be honest, in terms of the food quality, it did fall a little bit short for me, just because I expected it to be higher quality for the price. Despite that, I'm still very thankful for the experience, and I'm glad I got to experience Nobu for the first time. And that concludes my last full day in Singapore, but don't be too sad because there will still be 3 more videos in the Singapore series. And as always, I really hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure if you did to give it a like, and also make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.